coming to get that. We know there's oil in Iraq, and Saddam is no longer on our side. We can't buy him out anymore. Gaddafi is no longer on our side. We're going to go steal that oil.
And one of the main reasons why they did that is because both Saddam and Gaddafi wanted to switch their currencies to gold. They wanted the gold standard, man, instead of using that fiat money, man.
And what did Esau do? The so-called white man in America. They went over there. The first thing they did was go and get Gaddafi's gold. That's the first thing they did. Ran him up out of his own land. He went to hide. They stole his gold that he was going to turn and make his own currency. And this is all documented. You do the least bit of research, blessed is he that readeth. You do the least bit of research, you'll find that everything that's being brought out here is the truth. Because we do our research like true men of the Lord should do. Unlike you niggas, Johanna, doing the butt. You so busy doing the butt, you ain't looking up what words mean. Or even knowing what the scripture, knowing how to break down the scriptures, like the Lord of the Sabbath. Not only do you not read, you can't read or comprehend.
This is Psalms chapter 55, verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
That's talking about this so-called white man, Esau, and his descendants, the Edomites. His words were smoother than butter, meaning every word out of his mouth is a lie. He can't help but lie because he was created to be more subtle than any beast of the field. He's only doing his job. He's playing the role that he was created for. And until you hard-headed children of Israel, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, until you recognize who your enemy is, the so-called white man, you're going to go on believing every word that comes out of his mouth, which is a lie, according to the scripture. The scripture is exposing this devil for who he really is, whether you agree with the scriptures or not. And we're going to find out who you are and come after you before we go cut the head off of this damn snake.
Got one? This book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 6. How are the things that Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him.
Let's talk about these Edomites and how these other nations are going to come against them, even though they conspired together to come against the people on this side, the nation, 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. That's what they do in these UN meetings. That's what they do at these Bilderberg meetings. They come together so that they can conspire against us to keep us in darkness and in ignorance as to who we really are, knowing the moment that we wake up, which is going to happen according to the scriptures, the moment we wake up and call out to our power, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, all bets are off. But as I look around at you ignoramuses who don't know a damn thing about who you are, where you come from, it looks like they just might be able to do it.
This is Psalms chapter 83, and I'll start at verse 2. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarenes, Gebal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. As Sor also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot, Selah.
All these nations are against the 12 tribes of Israel because in the ancient days they knew that God was only our God. He wasn't their God. You Mexicans, you're one of the 12 tribes of Israel, God's chosen people. So what I'm saying to you is a good thing, okay? If you're not a Mexican, if you're not a Negro, if you're not an American Indian, God is not on your side, plain and simple. Now, if you want to change that, if you want God's chosen people, and you want everybody to be God's people, then you're about as wicked as you can be. There's nothing I can do to help you out. There's a sword coming on you, even though you're one of God's chosen. Just because you're an Israelite doesn't give you a pass. Some of you, the sword is already for you. It's already determined for you. Bring it up.
Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 23. Truly in vain is salvation hoped for from the hills and from the multitude of mountains. Truly in the Lord our power is the salvation of Israel.
Of Israel. So when I say Israel, you Mexicans, you're thinking of the people that live in, these Edomites that live in Israel. Little do you know you're an Israelite, okay? There's 12 tribes of Israel, okay? And the Mexicans are the tribe of Issachar. And this Bible is about you. Because you so-called Mexicans are the same race as the so-called black man in America. The same race. It's not too hard to understand you're the same race as the Native Americans. That's an easy one, right? Because you live relatively close to each other before this white man got over here, right? Right? But what you don't know is the black man in America is the same race as you. Different tribe, but same race of people. God's chosen people, the 12 tribes of Israel. The so-called black man in America is the tribe of Judah, the tribe from which the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ came from. According to the Bible, Jesus Christ looks like this. He's a black man with white woolly hair. So saith the scriptures. But don't take offense to that because we're the same race. You're the same race as this guy, Jesus Christ, not this guy. Jesus Christ does not look like this. This is a lie. Jesus Christ is not a white man. The scriptures don't say that. They say he had dark skin like bronze, as if it was burned in a furnace. And he had woolly hair, white woolly hair, like my hair is turning white right now. Come on. We're going to read the description so that you understand.
Revelation chapter 1, verse 13. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with the golden girdle.
All right, this is John the Revelator who's being shown a vision, okay? And the vision that he's seeing is what Jesus Christ looks like. He had on a garment like this. It was green. It's coming down to his feet, and he had on sandals. John was bowing down so he could see his feet and the color of his feet. Come on.
Numbers chapter 15, verse 38. Speak unto the children of Israel and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue. And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it and remember all the commandments of the Lord and do them, and that ye seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which ye used to go a whoring.
Now, this is a commandment. Why do Mexicans wear a sarape? Why do they put these fringes on their sarape? Why do they do that? This looks like a sarape, does it not? With a hole in it and a little, like a poncho. Does this not look like a sarape? Why do they put the fringes on it? Because their people were commanded to do that by God. Quetzalcoatl.
Yeah.
Okay? The American Indians put fringes on their garment. Why did they do that? Because the 12 tribes of Israel were commanded to do that. It's a commandment. There's not 10 commandments in the Bible. There's 613. One of which, read that again. This is one of the commandments. Read it again.
Numbers chapter 15, verse 38. Speak unto the children of Israel.
Stop. Speak unto the children of Israel. This is a commandment to who? To the whole world.
To Israel.
To the Chinese.
Speak unto the children of Israel.
To the Japanese.
Speak unto the children of Israel.
To these dirty Arabs.
Of Israel.
To the Israelites. So why? What did he tell the children of Israel to do?
And bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments.
Fringes in the borders of their garments. So why does a sarape have fringes on it? Why do the American Indians have fringes like this on their garments? Because it was a commandment that they were still observing when they got to this land, which proves that they are one of the 12 tribes of Israel. The so-called Mexicans are the tribe of Issachar. The so-called American Indians are the tribe of Gad. The so-called Negroes are the tribe of Judah. Read on.
Throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders of a ribbon of blue. And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that you may look upon it and remember all the commandments of the Lord, and do them, and that ye seek not after your own heart in your own eyes, after which ye used to go whoring, that you may remember and do all my commandments and be holy unto your power.
Khan, who is the enemy of the Mexican American? Who is the enemy? This is real easy. This is a real easily answered question. Who is the enemy of the American Indian? Who damn near wiped them off the face of the earth? We all know the answer to that, do we not? Okay? Now, these American Indians, these so-called Mexicans, these so-called Negroes here in America, guess what? We all have the same story.